Hi, it's Stacey Honowitz with my weekly sex crime safety tip. And this week I'm going to discuss two questions that always are asked of me when I'm talking about my cases. And that is, how do I break the ice and begin this conversation with my child? Because sometimes it can be embarrassing and delicate for some parents, although we all know how important it is. And the second question is, how many times do I need to have the discussion? So I'm going to handle the second question first, and that is, this issue is always evolving. If there's ever a way to incorporate sex crimes and good touching and bad touching into conversations, then you need to do it. And what I mean by that is, if you see a headline in the news or on TV about a sexual predator or somebody getting arrested for a sex case, you just need to find a way to make it more relatable to your child. And maybe something as easy as, look what happened, and look how the little boy or little girl told somebody that what was going on, and that person got arrested, and now that person is going to be in trouble for what they did, not prosecuted, because that's a big word for a little kid, but something where they know that if they tell and they don't keep it a secret, that someone's going to help them. So you constantly need to have the conversation. You need to pick your points of when you're going to toss it into conversation, but know that it's always going to be something that's important to discuss. And the second question is, how do I begin to have this discussion if it's difficult for me to talk about the subject matter? And you just got to try to make it as easy as possible. And that is, talk about, like we've discussed, their private parts and how no one's allowed to touch them. And if someone does touch them, that they need to report it right away. And if they ever feel threatened, to come to you. And that if someone ever tells them that they're going to get hurt if they tell, let them know that if the person is stopped, then they're never going to be hurt. And that means that they can never keep a secret from you. And I've written 2 books specifically. My Privates Are Private for little girls, and Genius with a Penis, Don't Touch for little boys. And people always laugh at this title, but I think it's very important because it's the truth. I wrote these books specifically because so many parents would say to me when they would come in my office, well, I couldn't find the right words. I just didn't know what to say. So I wrote these books as a guide for parents who found it difficult to begin the conversation. And the books are written in limerick form, so they're very easy. And they have little characters that really send an important message. They're small books with an important message, and they really teach the kids that if they're ever being touched, that it's so important to tell somebody and that someone's going to help them. So those are the safety tips for this week. Find time to have that conversation early on. If you have difficulty, if you think you can't do it, then get my books. Use them as a guide. They're at Amazon or they're at staceyhonowitz.com, my website. And the second important issue that we discussed is always having the conversation. This isn't a conversation that after one time you say, whew, I'm done. I don't have to do it anymore. Find ways to incorporate daily activities with what could possibly happen, and let them know that someone is always going to be there to protect them. So those are my safety tips for this week, and good luck. Thanks.